into a 10-inch underwater pipe of a dam with tremendous force. This man found himself in an unimaginable fight for survival. What was supposed to be a quick 15-minute inspection turned into a waking nightmare. A camera mounted on the diver captured the exact moment disaster struck. What the footage reveals will haunt you forever. On October 27, 2020, at the Lake Oliver Dam near Columbus, Georgia, commercial divers Alex Paxton and Eric Herbert were part of a maintenance team tasked with fixing an issue with the Lake Oliver Hydroelectric Dam. Alex and Eric worked for Glenn Industrial Group, which had a contract with Georgia Power to inspect and maintain the dam's underwater systems. Eric and Alex were to inspect the inner workings of this power-generating structure. Georgia Power's on-site employees managed the dam and believed the problem lay with the floodgate chain. The floodgate is a crucial part of the system that controls the flow of water through the dam, which in turn allows the dam to produce electricity for Georgia and other wholesale customers across the southeast region of the U.S. Hydroelectric dams are complex structures, and while they do provide clean energy, they also pose significant risks to those who maintain them. With over a decade of experience between the two, Alex and Eric were more than comfortable with the job. But even the most experienced divers face serious dangers underwater, one of the most common being differential pressure, or delta P. This occurs when there's a significant difference in pressure between two bodies of water, causing it to rush from high pressure to low pressure. The force of this water can be so strong that it sucks divers in or pins them down with immense force. Escaping from such a situation is nearly impossible and can feel like trying to lift a car with one arm. A diver can't see or feel the differential pressure hazards when diving, and by the time they do, it's too late. However, an invisible underwater force was about to turn their simple inspection into a waking nightmare. In a hydroelectric dam, water from the higher reservoir flows through the penstock pipe due to the gravitational force created by the dam's elevation. When the floodgate opens, water rushes through, turning the turbine to generate electricity before exiting into the lower reservoir. No diver wants to be in the water when this happens. To prevent the divers from being sucked in during this process, it is essential that they identify the potential sources of differential pressure before starting the dive. Each energy source increases the risk exponentially. Even if Alex and Eric had time to familiarize themselves with the locations of these energy sources, remembering their exact positions underwater would be challenging. That's where the lockout, tagout, or lotto procedures would come into play. In this situation, lotto would require that all energy sources, like the turbines and floodgates, be fully shut off, locked with danger tags, and listed on a checklist. The danger tag warns anyone who interacts with the system not to touch it until the locks are removed from the safety clasp. 2 dam employees signed off on the checklist, and before entering the water, Alex and Eric reviewed this lotto checklist to confirm their safety. Remaining cautious, the divers decided to do one last check before beginning their work to check for any underwater differential pressures. Noting all the potential hazardous locations on the list, they used a meter to measure the movement in the water at each location. After double-checking for dangers, Alex and Eric began their preparations, positioning themselves over the floodgate chain. Eric, the shift supervisor, offered to do the dive instead, since this would just be a simple check of the chain. He might need Alex for a more technical dive once they figured out what was wrong with it, but Alex refused. Alex was diving into the interior of the dam, where only a chain and metal floodgate separated him from the crushing body of Lake Oliver. Because everything was locked out, all the gates were closed, which allowed most of the water to drain from the penstock. Comfortable with the situation, Alex plunged into the narrow water chamber to get a better view of the floodgate's chain. As he descended into the murky waters of the dam, he wore a helmet, headlamp, an umbilical for breathing air, and a camera to record his work. Eric and Alex remained in constant contact as he descended the chain, scanning it for damage and the cause of the problem. Alex descended to 20 feet as he kept observing the chain. Seeing no issue, he drifted further downward, determined to find the problem. Suddenly, a powerful force tugged at Alex, pulling his body downward. He had no time to react before his left arm was sucked into a 10-inch opening, crushing the breath from his lungs. The force was immense, equivalent to 850 pounds of pressure. He couldn't pull free or move. This was the power of Delta P. With urgency in his voice, Alex screamed that he was stuck. His panicked voice crackled over the radio. His colleagues, shocked and confused, scrambled to respond. But the invisible force holding Alex was relentless. The force of the water traveling through the pipe made it nearly impossible for Alex to breathe. For 30 agonizing minutes, Alex was pinned underwater. The crew above frantically tried to determine the energy source and pull Alex up, but it was useless. The power was too strong. All parties involved checked the lotto form multiple times. There should have been no energy sources able to trap Alex. The maintenance team rechecked all systems logged on to the lotto form and found no issue with their work. Despite frantic efforts from the crew above, they couldn't pull him free. Eventually, they found the source of energy and shut the valve properly. But by then, it was too late. Eric, the shift supervisor, recounted the tragic events.
No, I volunteered actually. Me being the supervisor, I don't dive as much as I used to. This was supposed to be an easy dive, go and see what's wrong with the chain. Someone like him, I might need him for a more technical dive after this, once we figure out what's going on with the chain. So I said, I'll do it if you don't want to. Nothing, no problem. Didn't think anything of it.
The harrowing footage from the helmet camera showed every second of his plight as Alex fought for his life. Before the dam can operate, the penstock is primed with a low-flow priming pipe. Priming the penstock keeps the lake water from entering the open floodgate too fast and damaging the turbine. This was the 10-inch pipe that pinned Alex. 2 valves should have been closed to prevent this pipe from taking in water. One was a flapper valve, and the other was a gate valve controlled by a wheel. The flapper valve was closed, but critically, the gate valve was left open. And worse, it wasn't even listed on the lotto checklist. Despite the simple fix, crews still took 30 minutes to access and close the valve behind a locked gate. But there was no hope for Alex. The crushing forces at work kept him from expanding his chest and being able to breathe. Within minutes, he had lost consciousness and died from being trapped by the tremendous force of pressure from 25 feet of lake water squeezing through a 10-inch pipe. The blame for this oversight goes to Georgia Power. They had contracted Alex's company for maintenance work. They failed to provide a complete safety checklist, leaving out the crucial gate valve from their forms. In the aftermath, Alex's parents sued Georgia Power. Their case was settled out of court, but Georgia Power sued Glenn Industrial Group, claiming they signed a waiver that cleared them of any responsibility for the diver's safety. Georgia Power continued that by signing the waiver, Glenn Industrial Group was responsible for Alex's safety. However, the legal proceedings revealed a series of oversights that led to this tragedy and further highlighted Georgia Power's negligence. In a clip from the court case, Georgia Power's corporate manager admits that the lotto form before Alex's death wasn't complete. Documents submitted to the court showed only 4 items on the lotto form. The lotto form after Alex's death was updated to show 5 items. Prosecutors also determined that Georgia Power had a diagram that revealed the existence of the gate-style priming valve. At the time, the utility incorrectly claimed that no other diagrams existed and failed to provide the correct one. It was only after Alex's tragic passing that the missing diagram was discovered. Further research by Butler Kahn, the firm that represented Alex's family, revealed that Georgia Power was more responsible for the accident than previously thought. Internal communications showed the company acknowledging the serious oversight by employees.
I wouldn't have volunteered if I thought it was unsafe, nor would I ever put anyone else at risk intentionally. No job is worth that. I miss him every day, but I know I didn't put him in harm's way on purpose. I would have, if he said he wanted to watch the wreck, I would have went down and I would have dove it instead. Who knows, he'd probably be sitting here today.